Hello, here we are going to discuss one of the not so easy interview question. What is your greatest weakness? Before taking a look into how to answer this question, let's check what are some of the other ways of asking this question. Here we go. What are some of your weaknesses? Here you are asked to talk about more than one weakness. Or what are your strengths and weaknesses? Sometimes you are asked to sum up your strengths and weaknesses together. Or if you had a previous job experience, the question can be, if I called your previous manager, what would he say that you need to work on? This question is phrased a little tricky, right? Because the interviewer is asking you to be very honest. Or the question can be, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Or what do you want to improve in the next year? So, all these questions are asking about your weaknesses or areas of improvements. Now, let's see what the interviewer is trying to find out with this question from you. Basically, three things. First one, are you open and honest about your shortcomings? See, you are expected to be really sincere and honest when you are answering this. So, don't just go with the weaknesses you have read in the books or in the internet. The second point is, are you self-aware of your weaknesses? Have you ever thought or analyzed about your weaknesses? And the third point is, are you motivated to fix your weaknesses? How are you trying to improve on your areas of weaknesses? Now that you know what is expected with this question, let us see how you can prepare answers for this. So here I have given 4 points or 4 steps to prepare answers for the question. The first step is introspect. See, all of us have weaknesses and nobody is 100% perfect. So the very first thing you have to do is introspect, means ask yourself, which areas do I need improvement? If you're really struggling to find answers yourself, you can always ask your friends or your family. The second step is choose your areas of improvements. Now you would be wondering, why should I choose? See, you would have already got a list of weaknesses when you have introspected about it, right? But now you have to choose because you need to select those weaknesses that will not prevent you from succeeding in a role. For example, if you're looking for a project management role, you don't want to say that you are not good with time management. Or if you're looking for a data analyst job, you really don't want to say that you are not good with numbers or you're poor at math, right? So that is why you have to choose your answers. Third step is you need to provide examples of how you're working to improve on those areas. Honestly, when you identify your right weaknesses, then these stories and examples will automatically fall in place. So this step will not be very difficult for you. And the last step is script or frame your answer. So the most important thing you have to have in mind is when answering this question, don't be arrogant. And at the same time, don't show lack of confidence. Okay, now let's take some examples of different types of weaknesses, and I will also try to give some explanation to each of these type, which will help you to do this self-analysis or introspection. So I've given here 7 examples. Let's start with the first one, being too critical of yourself, or it is something like an extreme self-criticism. You know some people who will be overly critical about themselves. These people really don't feel satisfied after completing a work or a project, even after receiving good positive responses or feedbacks. So these people will always have a feeling that I could have done much better or I could have done much more. Yeah. And you will always criticize yourself for that. So these are people who are overly self-critical. Yeah. Point 1. Next, 2. Focus too much on details. Or again, you can say it is an extremely perfectionist people. Being detail oriented is a real good thing. But if you're a person who spends too much time on not so important tasks or things, this can be considered as a weakness. Third, trouble saying no. I think you know these people. Yeah. Helping others with something and at the same time being able to manage your own responsibilities is definitely an artful balance. But if you're always struggling to balance this just because you are not able to say no, then it can be considered as an area for improvement. Or it could be certain things or certain tasks which you really don't want to do, but you really have a trouble saying no. Then this is definitely a weakness. Point number 4, trouble asking for help. See, asking for help is a necessary skill when you feel completely burned out or overloaded, or when you really don't have the complete knowledge or expertise in a particular area. Some people really struggle with this, and they will have definitely consequences as well. Point 5, impatience. We all know that patience is a brilliant skill. It is a strength in itself, right? And the opposite can be something which can lead you to trouble. Yeah, hence impatience. 6, lack of delegation skills. You know some people who find it very difficult to share tasks or activities with others. The typical mentality of these people is, if I want to do it right, or if I want to do it on time, I should do it myself. And unfortunately, that's always not possible. And that is why it is sometimes a weakness. And the last one, or the 7th example here, is fear of public speaking. I think we all know such people, or we are, some of us are such people. You feel really nervous to speak or present in front of a large group of people. Yeah, this is fear of public speaking, a very common thing. So I hope these examples will help you in doing your self-analysis. There are many more. Once you start doing the exercise of introspection, you will definitely be able to find out. Now let's quickly take a look into 2 sample answers. In the first one, I consider lack of delegation skills as my weakness. And this is how I frame my answer. So as I said, basically it has 3 steps. One is you will talk about your weakness. Then you will also say examples. And then you will also tell how are you planning to improve it. So this is how it is. It has been very difficult for me to ask for help when I need it. I tend to complete any work all on my own without any outside help. One example was last year, when I was responsible for planning our college annual event. I tried to do everything on my own, from the most important decisions like choosing and inviting the chief guest to the tiniest of things like arranging the chairs at the venue. I was so stressed when the day came and I narrowly pulled it off. This taught me something. I have learned that it is better to seek help when you don't know something or feel burned out. I also understand that there are many experts around me that have specific knowledge and skills that can make my work better. I am trying to teach myself how to ask for help so I can deliver excellent quality of work. Now let's go to sample answer 2. Here I start focusing on my extreme perfectionism, and this is how I have framed my answer. My greatest weakness is that I sometimes focus too much on the little details of a project and get distracted from the ultimate goal. During my last year in the university, I was acknowledged for my web designing skills and was asked to revamp our college portal to make it more visually interesting. Unfortunately, I became so fixated on finding the perfect font that I missed the first deadline. Later, my guide helped me plan the rest of the tasks with specific timelines for each task to finally complete the project. From then on, I break each work down into mini tasks, each with their own deadline. If I spend too long on an individual thing, I set it aside and move to the next one. Usually, by the time I come back to the imperfect piece, I can be more objective about whether or not it needs work. So these are the 2 sample answers, and I hope this would really help you to prepare your weaknesses. Thank you.